Hello again, everyone. I don't know what we're supposed to do now that Game of Thrones is over for the season. How about Marco Polo on Netflix? You may have seen this in the Netflix thread and wondered, what the hell is that? I'm never going to watch that. It looks stupid. The initial thumbnail for it was just the actor playing Marco Polo standing in front of a gray background, which is one of my tiles here. Doesn't look very interesting, and you think Marco Polo, isn't that the game we used to play in the pool when we were kids? Well, yeah, and this is 2 seasons in, and I have not seen where that comes into play. I still don't know what that's all about. All right, but he is from Venice. He grew up without his father. He didn't know where he was. His father shows up when he's, let's say, 16, something like that, and visits for a short time. Then the father goes to leave again to go gather goods across the world, and Marco Polo sneaks into his wagon and goes with him. Well, lo and behold, he ends up his father finds out he has to go with him and work and stuff. And then when they get there, Marco Polo goes into the service of Kublai Khan. So I know if anyone is a history buff, Genghis Khan, or Genghis Khan, Genghis is how they're pronouncing it in the show. So we'll say Genghis Khan is probably the most famous, or at least the one that I remember from my ancient history classes. Kublai Khan, not so much, but he is the grandson of Genghis Khan, and he takes Marco Polo into his service and puts him to work, puts him through trials, and so he messes up, he comes back. The whole first season is about this dude here, southern China, where Kublai is trying to conquer southern China, but there's a walled city that he can't get past, and his great grandfather, or his grandfather, sorry, I don't remember if it's great or just regular, could never get past the wall. So that's his mission. He's trying to do greater things than Genghis Khan. And Genghis Khan in this show is a mythical, almost legendary figure. Even though he existed, he did a lot of awesome stuff. The Mongolians are nomadic people from the northern China area. And they're much different than the Chinese. You can see it, the Chinese are wearing like silk robes and, walking around with... They're much more proper, and the Mongolians are just nomadic, like Conan style people, right? So why should you watch this show? I wouldn't say it's like Game of Thrones quality. It has some in and outs and stuff, but there's people fighting for power. There's a lot of stuff going on. Interesting things happening with Marco Polo. The show kind of takes the approach of, if you are Marco Polo, so like we as the viewer are Marco Polo, and we've been recruited into the Kublai Khan's court, and we're watching everything transpire, historically speaking, through Marco Polo's eyes, essentially. There's a lot of cool backstabbing that's going on, some great fight scenes. You can tell the budget was put in a lot of certain places for like war scenes and things. That does not hurt it. Okay, so here's something that might blow your mind a little bit. So Game of Thrones has like $100 million season budget, roughly, something like that, right? That's the number one in expensive shows that's out there, period. Marco Polo is number 2. It's $90 million a season is what this thing costs. So you ask, why haven't I heard of this? And what's the big deal? What's so special about it? Well, it's a look into a world that you haven't seen. That dude right there, he's 100 Eyes. There's another show on Netflix that I'll plug real quick too on this. It's called, I think it's just called 100 Eyes. I think that's what it's called. But it's really good. It shows his backstory. But that came out after the first season to give you a little taste of where he came from, because he is a really cool character in this show. We're 2 seasons in. The second season, you get to see him do some of that gorgeous Chinese cinematography where they're doing ridiculous shit like, walking on water sort of stuff, or just the real beautiful kata fights. So that's always awesome to see. The barbarism of these guys, it reminds me a lot of, I would say, I guess, maybe Dorne. Maybe in the Game of Thrones, like real just kind of, whatever. Like they're basically drinking and having sex and with women all the time. So I try to make that sort of PG-13. But it's a really good show. It is like a NC-17 show, so if you have child locks on your Netflix, you do have to put your code in to watch this show, because there's a lot of nudity. So if you like to see boobs in shows, hey, this is gonna set you up. Except for Chinese, at least this show makes it seem like they're not very boob oriented. So I'm sorry. I just want to give you a heads up. There's a lot of nudity in this show. Not so much men, but there's some real cruel things that happen. That Chinese overlord, he's a chancellor for the emperor from the Song dynasty, as far as the historical timeline goes. That's where we're at with this show. And Kublai, well, no spoilers. I'm gonna try not to put anything too detrimental in this thing. I just want to. It's a referral. That's what these TV spotlights are for. It's to say, hey, I watched this and I think that a lot of you would like it. So if you are looking for a new show to pick up since Game of Thrones is off the air, check this out, because it's as good as you can get without it just being Game of Thrones. And then it's cool because it's a lot of stuff that you've never really seen on screen before necessarily. Mongolians, Chinese, and then season 2 we're getting more into the Christians, and the Pope are getting a little worried that maybe Kublai is going to start going west. So that's where we're at with the show, and it's without ruining anything, it's definitely worth a watch. Prince Jingham, he's a little whiny the first season, and then there's some other brothers and stuff. They call him the bastard brother. I want to say Adwale, but I don't think that's right. I have a slide on here of him. Maybe he'll pop up before this is done, but he is awesome. I don't remember what his name is. Didn't look it up. Sorry, but he is very entertaining to watch. There's a lot of stuff with royal family drama that makes the show interesting. So there's some family drama. There's some war. There's some backstabbing. Some plans within plans kind of stuff. And then just to see this guy that plays Kublai, his presence is amazing. Right off the bat, here he is. That's it. He's just this huge man, like just this big dude. And one of their things is that Mongolians breed large men, boys, children. I wouldn't say that necessarily. I mean, you see plenty of small people, but that was a joke in the show. So yeah, Marco Polo. I really enjoyed it. I found myself wanting to get to the next episode in both seasons. And I'd say if you're on the fence and you're not sure, do the 3-episode test. Like I would recommend with most TV shows that you want to give a shot. Do 3 episodes. If they haven't pulled your interest and grabbed you in 3 episodes, and they're probably not going to. So usually the 3-episode test is the way to go. Watch the first 3. If you're not hooked after the 3rd one, then dump it. But I feel pretty good about saying that since Game of Thrones is off the air, this is kind of a good supplement. It's kind of offset the need for some Westerosi action. Okay, so check it out. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, click like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.